And Friday. Friday the 10th, we're back to upper body and we actually have an EMOM. So that stands for every minute on the minute. And you can see we have odd minutes is overhead swings, even minutes is one-armed rows per side. And the reps there, 11 to 15, 8 to 12, you're just gonna pick. So you might try and start off with the hardest if you've done it before, and you're gonna aim for 15 swings on the odd minutes and 12 rows per arm on the even minutes. If you've never done this before and you're not very strong or you just never worked out before, you might wanna aim for the lowest number, which would be 11 swings on your odd minutes and 8 rows per arm on your even minutes. And of course, it can be anywhere in between. That's just kind of a reference for you. And then the 16 to 20 minutes is the same thing. You're either gonna pick 16 minutes, 18 minutes, or 20 minutes because you have to do the every other minute. So it's gotta be even. It can't be like 17 minutes. It's gotta be 16, 18, or 20. That's your choice. The number of reps is your choice. I'm just giving you a guide. I think most people should be able to do 11 to 15 swings. I think most people should be able to do 8 to 12 arm rows per arm, okay? It's just a guide. And then the second part is tiny arm circles, which is to a timer as well. So I'm gonna go over the exercises and then I'll explain how the EMOM works. Overhead swings. So you can hold one weight or two. I'd probably do two if you don't actually have a kettlebell. So it's your kettlebell swing, but you land overhead. We don't do those often in this program. And then our one arm rows, if you've got your chair handy, you can always lean on your chair. Okay. And then tiny arm circles. So you can do forward or backward, but it's literally these. So tiny arm circles, forward or backward to a timer, okay? So every minute on the minute is a timer. I talk about it on the timers page, and I also talk about it, I believe, in the timers video, how to use your timers app. So every minute on the minute, you program how long that you want it to be. So again, you're gonna pick 16 minutes, 18 minutes, or 20 minutes. Now, or you could even pick 14 minutes if you're like, you don't think you can make it. But what you're gonna do is set your timer, it's gonna beep, okay? It's gonna tell you rest, go, rest, go. But it's gonna do that every single minute for whatever amount of minutes you picked. So if I pick 16 minutes, once the first minute passes, so it's gonna beep to start my first minute. Then it's gonna beep to start my second minute. Then it's gonna beep to start my third minute. It's gonna beep every minute on the minute mark, okay? So that's why it's called every minute on the minute. And what you're doing is, so when we start, when it first beeps, you're gonna be on minute 1. So that's your odd minute. So 1, 3, 5, your odd numbers are your odd minutes. You're going to do between 11 and 15 overhead swings, whatever number you decided on. So if you decided on 11, when it first beeps, you're gonna do 11 overhead swings. When you're done, you're just going to rest until it beeps again on the second minute, which is now getting into your even minute exercise, which is your one arm rows per side. So again, whatever number, my cat's like going crazy in the litter box, whatever amount of reps you decided on, so say you did 8, when you hear that second beep on your second minute, you're gonna do 8 rows on this arm, 8 rows on this arm, rest until it beeps on the third minute, which is going to be 11 overhead swings, finish your swings, rest until it beeps again on the fourth minute, which is gonna be 8 rows per arm, rest, and so on, okay? So you're not doing these in the same minute, you're doing them every other minute. You're alternating the exercises. Now, with that being said, when you finish in your odd minutes, your swings, and your even minutes, your one arm rows, your rest is the length of time between you finishing and the next minute starting. So if it takes you 30 seconds to do your swings, you now have a 30-second rest till it beeps again, and you have to start with your one-armed rows. If it takes you 40 seconds to do your one-arm rows, now you have 20-second rest before you have to do your swings again, and so on and so forth. So the point of this is you want to go fast because you want to get the most rest that you can. But on the other hand, the faster and harder you go, the more tired you're going to be in the long run. So, I mean, this isn't a super long EMOM anyway. Like, I would say long ones are usually more like 30 minutes or longer, but 20 minutes is a decent amount of time as well. So if you are just like powering through and you're doing it so quick at first, you're probably gonna get burnt out, and then like the second half, you're gonna notice that you're getting slower and slower and slower and slower. So naturally, everyone's gonna get slower, but the point of this is it's almost like you wanna work hard, but you also have to be aware of your pace. So when you do this, you definitely have to be watching your timer so you can see how long it's taking you. So that's how you would know if you need to drop down the number of reps. So if you start off saying, I'm gonna do the highest number, which would be 15 and 12, and you go through a few rounds and you're finding that you're only getting like 10 seconds of rest in between, and you've still got 14 minutes left of your timer, you're gonna end up running into the issue where you end up with like no rest. So you're gonna need to drop down. So in that case, you might drop down to 13 and 9, something like that, and see how that works. And then if you find, okay, now I'm getting more rest, then you're good. So again, these numbers are just recommendations based off of what I did and what I noticed. But it's difficult if you've never done it and you're just listening to me say it. So you might want to like listen to what I'm saying and then back out of the video and actually start the timer, and then you'll kind of get what I'm talking about. So if anybody has any questions on the timer itself, you can ask me, but it's basically just gonna do all the work for you. You just need to know how many reps are you doing of overhead swings on your odd minutes, how many reps of rows are you doing on your even minutes. So your overhead swings, this is ideal with a kettlebell. I know not everybody has one, so I think with this one, with the overheads, I would probably hold 2 different dumbbells. So we've talked about swings before, I remember, because I think they were in our very first workout. So they looked like this, where your butt goes to the wall, your back bends down or folds down from the hinge, but you're not squatting down. You're kind of doing like a pendulum swing. So except now, my knee, it needs to pop and I can't pop it. You're gonna land with your arms overhead. So it's an overhead swing. So you're gonna swing down and then you're gonna land overhead. Swing down, overhead. So these ones are really easy to overarch when you get to the top. So really think about tucking those hips under. Okay? Strong butt. That's what I say in my head. Strong butt. Strong butt. Strong butt. That helps me from doing that. Okay? So it's just like our regular swing, but it's going back to the wall. Your back is folding down as you hinge. The weights come up between your legs, and then instead of stopping here, they're gonna go all the way up. Keep that strong butt, squeeze that butt so that you don't do this, okay? And now our one arm rows. I don't know if we talked about these or not before, but the easiest way to do it is to, like, if you do have a chair, you could do it on your leg as well, but the chair is the easiest. So you're gonna be in this type of position, and you're just gonna lift the weight basically to your chest and your side. You're squeezing your shoulder blade in the back. Lower down, 2, down, 3, down. So you wanna make sure that when you do this that you're not opening up and turning as you lift. You're just staying everything exactly how it is. Just squeeze that shoulder blade, down, squeeze, down. You also wanna make sure that you're not jerking like this. You wanna just stay nice and neutral, and then you're gonna switch hands and do the opposite side, okay? So, like I said, basically, you're just focusing on one exercise in the first minute, alternating, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Pay attention to the time because you want to see how much rest am I getting? Do I need to cut my reps? Do I need to increase my, maybe you underestimated yourself and you picked the lowest numbers and you get halfway done and you're like, oh, I'm getting so much rest. Then you need to up your number of reps and add a little bit more in there. So once you're done with that EMOM, we have a little 4-round Tabata timer with tiny arm circles. So all you're gonna do is pick forward or backward, and you're gonna do this, okay? So this is what I'm doing, either forward or backward, okay? So you're just gonna do that, and then it beeps for your rest, you're gonna take a rest. Then when it beeps again, or you could even, if you want, because we're doing 4, you could alternate. You could do backward on one beep, forward on the next beep. It doesn't matter, but that's all you're doing. But again, that's gonna be deceiving because we just did overhead swings and rows, so your arms are probably gonna be tired. But that is our week 2.